Hi, my name is Giovanni. I am in the third period for Dr. Rice's APUSH class, which you guys probably already know because everybody's watching this is in APUSH. But I will be doing two videos. I'll be doing one on the movie Glory in 1989 and the movie JFK, which I don't know the year, but these are two really good movies from what I've seen so far. So to get started on, let's get started on this movie, Glory. So I'm going to my notes really quickly. In, hold on. Okay, let's continue. So, like I said in the first recording, I took down some notes and I'll be sharing with you them today. So, just to give an overview of what happened. So, this movie follows the main character. Sorry, the captain of the regiment, well, the future regiment, is Ronald Gould Shaw, and he was a captain at the Battle of Antietam and was presumed dead until a grave digger, found him, and while he was presumed, missing or dead, they found him and they were able to return him to his family. He got to a hospital, he started feeling better, and because of his heroic efforts, he gets to be put in charge of the future 54th Regiment for the U.S. Army. And so, he takes up that offer and he goes to see his friend, his childhood friend. I forgot his name. I think, yeah, it was Forbes last time I checked. And Forbes, um, you know, he doesn't really like, black people like that, but he does take up on the offer as well. And they start enlisting black soldiers, black free soldiers, I believe, that were in the North. And after getting enough, when they finally decide that they have enough, they decided that they will go out into battle. But first, before they go out into battle, they have to train. And some of these slaves were, troublesome at first, but there were three that really stuck out. One, to me, was the deaf boy, just because the guy bullied him. And the guy that I'm talking about is, I believe, um, okay. So that's Trip. So Trip was really, he was a bad guy. I mean, just in general, he was a bad guy at the beginning, of course. And he would bully the deaf guy. He would bully even Shaw's childhood friend, which I was going to talk about next, which was Thomas. And Thomas and Shaw go way back, so they have history, and that's why he was the first one to enlist for Shaw, and yeah, so there's a lot more, of course, but those were the ones that really stuck out. But that didn't include the guy that I was going to talk. I'm going to talk about leader later. Sorry, but yeah, those are the main ones for now. So after we're training and more training, including when Trip actually got caught going AWOL and was flogged, um, they finally get to go onto the battlefield. Well, not really onto the battlefield, but they went to go on the mission, and they was going to James Island. And after seeing James Island, well, beforehand, we actually have to go and see the town that they burned. They were commanded under no, Colonel Montgomery, and they were commanded to burn down the building. And the Shaw was hesitant to, just because it was illegal and it wasn't really reasonable. but he was forced to after Montgomery threatened him, and his regiment had to set fire to the buildings. And during that, I believe, one of the people in his regiment decided that they wanted to assault a woman, and Montgomery shot that guy. And that was considered a really, like, real dilemma in Shaw's head. But moving on past that, we have the James Island battle. That's when they finally see battle, and Shaw commands he commands his army, and he goes after them, and he just like go prove what you're here for. Just prove your worthiness, and they go out there, and they go and they beat the Confederates up, and they're first to retreat, and um the 54th, they're happy, they're cheering, and I'll talk about that later. But sorry. After the battle is over and everybody's happy, they get to continue. And after, I believe they took a little rest, and then Shaw overheard plans to invade Battery Wagner, which was a fort that was conquered at the time by the Confederates. And the Confederates were holding that fort, and Shaw threw himself and his regiment, just like, yes, we will do that, we will do it. And they finally get to the battle. The night before, they're just saying prayers and everything, and the regiment looks like they're ready to fight. So they get onto the battlefield, and all is well for them, except when they actually get on the battlefield and the Confederates start firing from the fort. They're not unprepared, but they're unfortified. So they just start falling one after another, and eventually it comes down to Shaw being shot. And after Shaw was shot and eventually killed, his general below him, the African American one that he chose, he gets shot next. And after the battle is over, we can actually see in the video the number of bodies that were left behind by the Union soldiers, by the 54th Regiment. And we can see that it was like a total loss for them. And, you know, everyone was killed, and they were thrown into shallow graves, mass graves, actually. And at the end, we can see Shaw finally being covered up and just buried with his other soldiers. And it was like, wow, that was harsh, but also it's kind of deep. But moving on past that, we can see at the end it finally gives us um, a little narration that Wagner never taken back by the Union. Just yeah, and that really shows how. I guess it really just shows how these people really fought back then. If that fort, I don't know how many times they tried to take that fort, but I'm not one to say anything. I'm just here to narrate or give my analysis. So at the end, it also shows that the 54th was brave, and it helped inspire other Black Union soldiers to help fight the Union for their cause. So yeah, surprisingly, we're 10 minutes in before I cut everything up. It was time to get into the questions. Okay, so for the first question, I believe that it's in period 5. Evidently, it's the Civil War, and the years that the Civil War happened in was during period 5. So that's what I put it in myself. For the next one, if it was accurate or not, I would say it was pretty accurate, to be fair with you, just because of how they got the names, they got the names of the soldiers, the name of um, Shaw's friends and family, and even, his colonel. Everything was based off of facts. And although some things were dramatized, like even a tinty, inty, bitty bit, it still showed how, it was really accurate, in my opinion. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, the camera was right there, and I'm looking on the side. Jeez. Okay, sorry, moving on. Some facts I got from the video was one, I didn't know that white people were friends with black people, like when they were younger, just because I know in the North, like, there are not a lot of free people. So when I saw the friendship between Shaw and Thomas, I was really like, whoa, they were friends when they were little? That was pretty crazy. And just because I never seen like a black white relationship that actually survived even a few years during the Civil War, and to see them get to fight alongside each other and eventually die alongside each other, Zabinangai, was really like, wow, that's, that's really deep. But the next question we have was um, any questions that were triggered by the movie. And I had some, but I have two here. And my first one was, how much racism went unnoted in the history books for the Union? Just because I know the Union didn't fight for the slaves at the beginning, they're fighting for the Union, to preserve the Union, rather. And it was just, it was just because of the Emancipation Proclamation that tides began to change. But the South was really fighting for slavery and for their economy and for the preservation of their culture. So I was just seeing, because the South is mostly portrayed as the bad guy with slavery and racism, but we don't know about how much went undocumented in the North, just because the movie did a great job explaining and showing how the black soldiers in the Union, they were the first regiment, the 54th Regiment, to have the black soldiers. And we can see, of course, how they underwent racism and how it affected them, and most especially Trip, from what I can see. And we can see how, it really got its way through the soldiers. But I would just wanted to know just like how much and or how frequent was it undocumented? Which you probably can't know because it's undocumented, but it's whatever. Another question I had was, how were the black regiments treated if they were captured? Were they killed or were they sent back to slavery? This was just another question I just had that obviously the movie kind of explained. I said this in my first recording, and I didn't get to say it this one just because I was, trying to speed things up. But in the first, at the first part of the movie, it was declared by the Confederates that if, you know, um, the African Americans that were serving in the Union were captured, they would be, swiftly executed. And the Union, the white Union colonels and generals would be relieved of their command. And they decided that they wanted to fight anyway, which they eventually ended up doing. But I was just curious because I know I'm not even trying to be like gruesome right now or like sound weird, but I just want to know just how are they like treated after, just because I know that they cared so much about the slaves. That's why they were fighting in the first place. That I'm not sure that it would be a good thing to even, like kill them if that's what was fueling your economy. but also, it could be understood that you could just get some more from Africa. But just a thought, just a thought. And the last question I had that I got was, what did I think about the movie? I thought the movie was great. So I was watching with my brother, and it was me on the bed, and it was my brother in the chair that's behind me, that's kind of hidden. But I promise you, we were just sitting there and we were watching on the TV, and we're just like, ah, my goodness. Oh no, Shaw, don't do that. Don't Shaw. Shaw, hey, Shaw, why would you do that? And it was just like, eh. And I was just like to him, ako tuna batu sabi na bumoy. And then we're just over there just looking at the TV, and we're just like, ah. I mean, we're just looking, and we're just looking at all these actors just like throwing the slur all calmly, and I'm just like, hey, wow. Because I know it's just a movie, and it was just like, it was for entertainment purposes, but like, how can you like go out after after saying that? Like, is your life not threatened? But sorry, and I'm joking. Um, yeah, I really thought the movie was great, but it got really gruesome at parts, and it was just like there was a portion of the movie that showed this guy's head getting blown off, and it was just like, ah, I mean, it was gruesome, but also at the end, it really got you with that, with showing um Shaw and his soldiers dying all together, while also having the Union flag falling, and the soldiers getting thrown in those shallow graves. It was just really like, oh, Shaw, why didn't you win? And it was just like, and then you forget it's an actual like it's just like semi documentary. And yeah, but in my opinion, it was a great movie. It was 10 out of 10. I would recommend it. I would watch it in theaters with my family. I mean, that's how good it is. And I barely watch stuff with my family. So yeah, it's a good watch, guys. It's a really good watch. So that's going to be it for tonight, guys. If I do JFK tonight, I will see you in the next video. If not, good night. But yeah, it is very late. That's all I could tell you. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something nice out of it. And I will see you in class because I'm enjoying my break right now. So when I get back, I'll probably be crying in class in the corner of the room, as always. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Toodles. Good evening, everyone. Or for me, at least, because I'm making this at 10:18 p.m. And the stuff wants to. I already took one part, and the first part, which was the main part, like 18 minutes of the video, was corrupted. And I ended up having to delete everything and start over again just because I lost so much information. But I convinced myself I'm gonna do it this time. I'm gonna do it a bit bigger and I'm gonna do it better. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make another one. So the way I wanted to kuji manda come to the, I just wanted to throw it away. I don't know what to say it in English, but no, I wanted to throw it away. But back here again. So let's get into this video.